ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast for February 18th. This is for Friday Night Rampage. I'm your host, Jeffrey Vegas. I'm here with my co-host, Rome. How you doing tonight, man?
What's up, man?
Nothing much. Just enjoying the early Rampage and an absolutely banger of a show.
Oh my God, I love this time slot. I don't think Tony Khan listens to wrestling podcasts of all, of smaller, more beginning caliber. But like, if someone's out there listening, please get Rampage on Friday nights at 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
Like it
I
was
saw
so
multiple.
much better.
Yeah, I saw multiple people on Twitter agreeing with you as well. I would be happy with this slot. Um, Give me a chance
I
to
think it
actually
would.
go out and do something on Friday night, or without trying to rush home for 10 o'clock.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think if you're still trying to avoid SmackDown, I think that it's great to get in front of SmackDown. I think it'll help your viewership. I think it's just all around. It's just a more attractive, more appealing time slot. I mean, I don't think anybody is channels. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that. I just don't feel like people are going to discover the product 10 o'clock on Friday night as opposed to 7 o'clock on a Friday night.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. I feel like this is a very good time slot to be in. I wonder if this was an experiment, but I thought it was fantastic. Um, I had no complaints.
Yeah, I think. I mean, they had to move out of necessity this week, but
Yeah.
I mean, it was so much better. It was such a better time slot.
Yeah, and it gave him an opportunity to kind of promote NBA All Star Weekend, and it kind of gave me the idea that if they keep doing these at 7 and they schedule some NBA games to start at like 8, you know what I mean? They can promote that NBA game the same way that they were tonight. Like I feel like that'd be a good way for them to go.
Oh, absolutely. Well, usually in television, you want to either be a lead up to something big or you want to be right after something big, because people are either tuning in on during your show for the next show, or they're staying after their show ends for your show. So,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, I think that it's a great time slot. I really hope we see more of it someday.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so let's get into tonight's episode of Rampage. We started off with Adam Cole versus 10 from the Dark Order, and 10 was still pissed off from I guess from them jumping Adam Page in the ring, but it was a little bit awkward on Dynamite the way 10 kind of flipped out, went crazy. But this was a great match. What'd you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good match. I agree that the build up to this match on Dynamite was really bizarre. It was just really weird, and I wasn't really too into it. But I thought this was a really good back and forth match. I thought that 10 played a great big guy babyface, and I think Adam Cole did a great job with being Adam Cole. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, this for me was a very textbook match. I didn't really have a lot of spots necessarily that stuck out to me. But it just all in all, it was a really smooth, great match. 10 could really be something special someday, and it's definitely something to keep an eye out for.
Yeah,
Going
absolutely.
against Adam Cole, who, we're going to talk about him in a little bit when we get into the card coming up. But, you know, great wrestler, great wrestlers, good match.
Yeah, absolutely. This was a fantastic match, man. I actually was a little surprised that I was kind of expecting Adam Cole to look really small compared to 10. But I think Cole's been doing some working out or something because people have been making fun of him for having a dad bod. And he actually looked a little more cut. Cole looked like not so tiny compared to 10. I was kind of surprised.
Yeah, I would assume it's because Cole's run is kind of starting up here. I mean, he's been wrestling, but he's been working programs with the Bucks, 6-man tags, tag matches, you know, a lot of matches that maybe he didn't feel like he had to necessarily be in the best shape for. But, with him moving forward, starting singles, runs and singles matches, not surprised to see him get into a little bit more shape.
All right, so Jericho on the mic. I'm not into it anymore. I there's at one point I literally wrote down Jericho is not good on commentary tonight. Um, he made some joke about like the ACL, the MCL, the VCR. I'm like, dude, half the audience don't even know what a VCR is, man. Like,
Yeah, I mean, it really sucks because I feel like what the idea, what the plan for Jericho is, I feel like Jericho is going to be an AEW lifer one way or the other. I think he's the kind of guy you're going to see part of the company moving forward, pretty much as long as that company's around. My thing is, I think the plan is for him to be a commentator, and I just don't know if it works. I
oh
think there are some spots where he's funny. I think there's some spots where it works, but I think a majority of the time, like, thank God Taz is out there. Thank God Excalibur's out there. You know what I mean? It's just like he's got a lot of skilled guys, skilled talkers. I don't want to say skilled talkers because I think Jericho's a good talker, but skilled commentary guys out there.
yeah. At one point, I think Ricky Starks corrected Jericho, and Jericho went silent for a second, like he was mad, and then he just kind of used it as part of the as part of the show. But yeah, Ricky Starks and Taz, they definitely could do without him, I think. And I hate to say that because I love Jericho, you know what I mean? But I don't think commentary is his thing unless he can tone down that. I don't know what he does with his voice when he's on commentary, but it's not the normal like talking voice of Jericho.
Well, I think he sees it as commentators these days are kind of sometimes remembered for their soundboard material. You know what I mean? Like the quotable stuff, the memeable stuff, even. And I think Jericho's trying to capture that
Yeah,
instead of like focusing on the play-by-play aspect of it. And I just don't think it just doesn't vibe with me personally, and clearly with other people, yourself included. I
yeah.
think he's great. Like his style is great for promos, but I don't know. I think Jericho's just the proof that there are different kinds of talkers in the wrestling business and different kind of skill sets for talkers, and Jericho
Yeah.
just doesn't really have the it thing for commentary, not on a consistent basis.
Oh yeah, I agree. But that brings me to a point of I really think that AEW should pursue Mauro Ranallo if they can. Um, I know JR's contract is coming up, and I'm not saying they should get rid of JR, but if they can land Mauro Ranallo, my goodness, I think that would take AEW to another level.
Yeah, I think Mauro Ranallo and Excalibur could be like the duo of the future. I think that
Oh
that could be a
man,
really, really great team. You keep Shivani as long as Shivani. I mean, the way I look at it is one of the things. I mean, there's a lot of things where Tony Khan hit home runs with, and one of the things is definitely commentators. Jim Ross is the best commentator of all time. Yes, he's getting older, so he does make mistakes. But if you look at the body of work, the guy is the goat.
yeah,
Shivani also very, very, very good, extremely good, definitely up there with the greatest of commentators. Um, and then you have the young guys. Excalibur's great. I mean, not a young guy, but Taz. Taz is just amazing. Hopefully,
he,
Taz is there for a long time.
Taz is a national treasure.
Again, Philly bias maybe, but like, God, fucking love Taz.
Yeah,
Um, so end of that match though, I thought it was a very interesting thing that we saw where Red Dragon came out to celebrate with Adam Cole after the victory, not the Young Bucks.
yeah. I actually was hoping that the ending, because of the way Cole used the low blow, I was hoping the Dark Order would come out and just start jumping Cole, and then I thought Red Dragon would come and maybe start a little feud here, but I guess not.
I don't know what they're trying to do with the Dark Order right now. I mean, we've talked about this many a times off the podcast. I think that the Dark Order is really stale,
Yeah.
and the way that they just kind of showed up this week didn't help that. I felt like it was just kind of like, well, we need a spot here. Like let's and this isn't anything against the guys in the Dark Order. I think each and every one of those guys is extremely talented. It's just the gimmick is stale. It's not a good gimmick for baby faces, in my opinion. I don't think that the gimmick works very
Yes.
well.
Yes.
Um, I understand Brody Lee passed away, but it's been over a year. I think it's time to
Yeah.
move on, with that gimmick. I mean, I don't know what that means. I don't know if it's breaking it up. I don't know if that's a heel turn. I don't know if that's a new leader. I don't know what it is, but it needs something. If the Dark Order is gonna stay around, they need something because there is too much talent in that stable for these guys to not be on TV every week. It's like it, and I understand AEW is a very stacked roster, so sometimes you guys got to go with the hot storyline. But like these guys haven't been around for like a month,
Yeah.
and I would just like to see something change there. I mean, if they don't have anything for them, then it is what it is. Again, AEW is a very AEW's biggest problem is that it is the best problem to have in the fact that it's got a very stacked roster and it has 3 hours of national TV time and 3 hours of YouTube time a week. So it's hard to get everybody on there, and I get that, but I mean they got to do something with the Dark Order because I
Yeah.
like they're wasting their contracts in AEW if this is just what they're doing is nothing except for showing up when Hangman needs a little bit of backup.
For me, I believe it's the fact that they don't have a leader is what's hurting them. That gives them no purpose. They're just there. You know what I mean? And like, I don't think
Exactly.
we're supposed to feel like Hangman is the leader. I'm sure we're not supposed to feel like that. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
they have a friend who they're out there defending, but without a leader, the Dark Order literally has no purpose other than to make us laugh, I guess, at the moment. And I'm a huge Dark Order fan. Like if I switched the camera on right now, I have a Evil Uno mask and a Dark Order championship belt over my shoulder here. But they need a leader and they need to be heels. Like the Dark Order just doesn't make sense as guys to make me laugh. Like I'm okay with them doing the laughing stuff on YouTube and all that and in some interviews, but I want them heels. I want a leader, which obviously I hope we're waiting for Wyndham. I just truly hope that's what we're waiting for. Um,
Oh, brother, you know me. You
yeah.
know that that's what I'm waiting for.
Oh yeah. And
Oh man,
I'm hoping it
the
even
days
more because
of
I believe Wyndham would cause you to start liking the Dark Order. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for me.
absolutely. But again, it's not that I don't like the Dark Order.
Yeah,
It's
I got
just, it's just stale. When Brody Lee was the head of the Dark Order, I thought the Dark Order was phenomenal. When Brody passed, I understood that these guys could not be heels, and I think for a good 6 months they were still phenomenal with what they were doing. You
agreed.
know, after I would say the point where it soured for me was the 10-man tag Elite versus Dark Order and Hangman. I think after that match, which that match was phenomenal. I'm not taking anything from that match. I think that was the point where I was like, okay, the Dark Order needs to change. And then they started changing because they started losing matches. And I was like, oh, thank God, maybe this is the storyline that they're gonna do something different and they're gonna stay, in my opinion, in the great zone, like the zone of great acts in AEW. Um, and it just wasn't that. It was just them losing so that way when Hangman came back, they would all come together as a squad.
Yeah.
Um, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah. All right. So let's get to our next match here. We had Will Hobbs versus Dante Martin. This was the rubber match for these guys. This is match number 3. And a lot of people did not think that Powerhouse Hobbs was going to win this match. But I think I kind of knew it because we had Wardlow and Keith Lee in that ladder match. And I was like, they're going to make this a big man ladder match. They're going to do it. And sure enough, Hobbs comes out with the win and joins this Face of the Revolution ladder match.
Yeah, so I thought that tonight the three main matches got better as the night went on. So for me, this was the second best match of the night. I think Dante Martin and Powerhouse Hobbs have incredible chemistry. This is a duo that I would really hope we see again in the future. I was very surprised to see Hobbs win. I understood that Dante had the 2 wins over him, but I just thought it was a no-brainer that you were going to put Hobbs and or Dante Martin in the ladder match, and they
Yeah,
didn't go there. I think this makes it a very interesting ladder match. I think you have the three big guys, 3 big boys, and I don't know who else I don't know who else is going to make this ladder match. Um, I don't know if this is a 6 or 7 man ladder match. I think it's probably 6.
I believe
Um,
it's 6.
so Yeah, we'll see what happens. There's no qualifying matches set up for Dynamite next week, which I think is very interesting. Again, we'll talk about the card. I think the card for next week has some interesting tidbits about it that we'll get into.
Okay,
But
okay.
yeah, I think this match was fantastic. Two guys, both playing to their strengths. Taz is great on commentary, being the heel commentator. Just this was a great match for me.
Yeah, he was throwing out the big Beal, the Keith Lee gigantic Beal across the ring. Obviously, we're gonna get a confrontation with Keith Lee and Hobbs now. As soon as I saw him start doing that, I knew he was winning the match. I was like, "Yep, there it is. Him and Keith Lee, we're doing this." Um,
Yeah.
and
So
he
let me.
he threw Dante probably what 3 times. I think he did it to him,
Yeah, man,
and
it was very impressive.
it was wild, man. Like he he actually didn't fly as far as as who was that? Who was that? I forget. Cassidy, right?
Cassidy.
Isaiah
Yeah,
Cassidy. He
Cassidy.
didn't fly
Yeah.
as far as Isaiah Cassidy, but it was still super impressive. Um,
So let me ask you this: does Will Hobbs have the best spine buster in wrestling right now?
I believe so.
Because my God, that was. If you ask me my favorite spot of that match, it's not usually the finisher. I mean, sometimes it is, but the spine buster there was my favorite spot of this match. It looked so good, and I'm a big fan of the Triple H double A spine buster. Like Triple H, in my opinion, used to have the most beautiful spine buster, but
Yep.
like, man, this was a really nice spine buster.
Yeah, I do believe he'll be my next in line for the best spine buster. It would go. Arn Anderson originally had the best, and then we went with Triple H, and now I think Hobbs is next up because that's a thing of beauty.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
What did I have written down here? I said we absolutely need Hobbs versus Keith Lee for the world title sometime next year. They have to work that into the storyline somehow. I need that one-on-one match for a big deal.
1-on-1, yes. I don't know if that's going to make the world title necessarily, but definitely 1-on-1. Maybe TNT title.
Yeah, I'm talking a year from now. You know what I mean? If they were to do it now, then yeah, the TNT title. But these two should both be pushed to the moon here in the next few years.
Hmm.
All right, so I actually audibly popped when Hobbs won this match. I actually shouted out "Let's go" and clapped. You know me. It's tough to get me to shout out loud in my house.
Yeah, thought it was a great match. Looking forward to this pay per view, man. Stacked card.
For real, for real. All right, we had a promo with Jade and Mark Sterling, and Matt Hardy came out, and Jade said I think one of the greatest lines I've ever seen a female wrestler put out in a promo when she said, "I look like money, I talk like money," and then she leaned in so Matt could smell her, and she said, "And I smell like money." And dude, the look on Matt's face was like the look of a kid who just got his first kiss. It was one of the best segments I've seen with Jade in it. It was fantastic.
So number one, I feel like Jade Cargill got the call because they taped Rampage on Wednesday after Dynamite. I feel like Jade got the call Wednesday morning and they said, "Here's what you're doing today. You're going to be in a promo with Matt Hardy." And she was like, "Okay, I'm going to dress up like the Riddler. I'm going to dye my hair green." It was a very interesting choice. I mean, for the sake of the promo, it made it better. Like it was pretty to on the nose. So, thought it was great. I love the continuation of the teasing of the Hardy Boys. I love Matt kind of freaks out, go extreme. Matt, Smart Mark Sterling says more erratic behavior from Matt Hardy. It's
Yeah,
just,
yeah.
um, so yeah, I think these Rampage little promo segments that they do are just so good because they don't have a lot of time to work with, but they just really they get so much done in these promos.
Yeah, and Matt yelled at Tony Schiavone, "We're gonna get extreme," and he did the Team
Yep.
Extreme double fingers thing. Like it's happening.
Yeah. Do you think that they're teasing it so much to the point where it's not going to happen? Like, do you think that they would swerve us?
I hope not, because Matt posted on his Twitter, I think it was today, 4 different matches that him and Jeff are scheduled for now. Like it looks like they're going on that tour of collecting gold again.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. It's just I feel like it's being teased so much to the point where it's like the
Yeah.
thing that's great about Tony Khan and AEW is that it's definitely not always very predictable. Like we can think about it and it gets us thinking and it all makes sense and is logical. But sometimes I feel like when they tease it too much, they swerve a little bit.
Yeah, I
Um
agree. I could definitely, I mean, we could definitely be wrong here, but I think this is one of those things where like Tony makes us believe something's gonna happen, and he delivers. Like if CM Punk didn't show up that week in Chicago, you know what I mean? Like I think certain things when we get that idea that it's going to happen, I hope it actually does.
that's fair. That's fair. The CM Punk thing is kind of testament to that. So you're
Yeah.
right. Okay.
All right, so next we had my favorite segment of Rampage for the past like 2 weeks now. The Professor's 5 minute rookie challenge. I absolutely love this. I hope they continue this for weeks and weeks.
Yeah, I think this should be a very long going segment in Rampage. I think that's something they like to do with Rampage is they like to have these 4 match cards where one of the matches is like a squash match. I think that is the way to go. And I think between this, the hook matches, the Jade matches, stuff like that, I think these kinds of matches are the kinds of matches you want to have for that fourth match. And I think it's a great segment. The commentators made it clear that she could win at any time, and she was basically toying with her.
Yep.
I still think this one went a little too long,
Yeah.
but I mean, again, if you're looking at it from the sense that she's just playing around and just toying with her opponent, makes sense. But all in all, great segment. I don't really have anything to add or take away. It's just good, solid. Keep going, keep building to the future.
Yeah, I do have one thing that this segment pointed something out to me that Tony Khan seems to allow the jobber talent to wear whatever gear they just have with them.
Yeah,
Those things on that girl's legs should have been kept in the locker room. They should have definitely not been like, hey, take those off. That looks really bad.
yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, well, she's just enhancement talent, so it's
Yeah.
not her first match on AEW either. She's been on Dark a few times and Helica Risk.
Yeah, and
Um,
Helica.
yeah, she's not awful, but
No, no, she wasn't bad at all. I just when I saw the leg things and I was just like, those do not work in wrestling. Like it, it, it would have been something for like I don't know if you ever watched the Olympics where they do like karate in performance style. Like that would have looked great in that type of a scenario, but in the ring I wasn't too big of a fan. Now, I did write down something here. I'm just so impressed with Serena Deeb and like the way she technical wrestles and all of that stuff. I wrote down she's the Brian Danielson of women's wrestling right now. Um, all the locks that she puts people into, that Serenity lock to finish the match, that thing's nasty. Uh, I want this to continue, like I was saying, until maybe we get someone like Athena, or I mean, Athena is formerly known as Ember Moon. We could also get Nixon Noel. That would be Tegan Knox from WWE.
that's
Um,
the one that I hope comes in. I always
yeah,
was kind of I wasn't watching the product when she was kind of getting featured on NXT, but I was always an admirer from afar of Tegan Knox. I thought she was really good, thought she was great. So I would hope it's her. Um, but we'll see. And yeah, I agree with your assessment of Serena Deeb. I think she's more so the Dean Malenko of women's wrestlers, but
yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, very similar. So yeah, but it was great.
All right. So next up, we had our main event. We had Jay White versus Trent. Um, the opening promo for Jay White was pretty nice. Him kind of introducing himself to the world of AEW. But then I don't know if this is something I'm unaware of from NJPW because I haven't watched in a while. But Trent called him the knife pervert, or I was just like, what? So
Well, it's because he's like Switchblade, and he has a knife obsession.
okay,
That's what he was jokingly saying. I thought the pre-match for both these guys was awesome. I thought it was great. These Rampage pre-matches are always really good.
yeah,
This one was no different. It was awesome. Everyone involved. Orange Cassidy added to it a little bit. Mark Henry added to it a little bit. We did get to hear Jay White kind of introduce himself to the fans that haven't seen him. This was my first Jay White match. It's always really hard for me to keep up with how much wrestling is out there, and New Japan is usually something that falls to the wayside for me. And I know he's on Impact right now, but I haven't really been able to watch Impact the last few months. So this was my first Jay White match, and what a treat it was.
Oh, absolutely.
Um, I've been really happy with. So I'm a big Best Friends fan, and I've been very happy to see Trent since he came back. The dude's been working his ass off in some really marquee matches, and I think that is really cool.
He's good.
He's really good. I don't think people realize that him and Chuck Taylor are like legitimately really great wrestlers. I think that they're just kind of thrown together as a tag team. Like they're not, but they're both phenomenal wrestlers. Like these guys are both very good.
Yeah, I had seen Trent wrestle back before he got injured, and I was like, oh yeah, these were some good matches, but they were just some good mid card matches. That was a great main event. I mean, Trent stepped his game up, man. That was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, again though, he's been knocking it out of the park week after week, and I don't think he's getting enough credit or people talking about him. Like the guy had a great match tonight. The week prior, he faced the Young Bucks and had a great match. The week prior, he faced Nick Jackson, had a great match. The week prior, he faced Adam Cole, had a great match. Like he is knocking it out of the park, and I really, really hope that this year is the year for the Best Friends to win that tag team gold. I think that they deserve it. There's a lot of great tag teams in AEW, but man, like we gotta get those belts on the Best Friends. Like we gotta do it.
Yeah.
Gotta happen.
So, those suplexes that they were giving each other, that one out of the ring, that was crazy. I don't know if I had seen that before. I'm sure it's happened somewhere, but that was
Yeah, I
nasty.
mean it was a real nasty suplex, and it was right before the commercial break too, which I always like those big spots right before the commercial break because it's just kind of like you get a second to like decompress afterwards, and it's just like,
Yeah.
man, that looked like that hurt. Really looks like it hurt.
Now, I wrote down something here. I was hoping you might have caught this. Right when we came back from commercial, the crowd was chanting something, and I could not figure it out. Could you figure out what they were chanting in that first chant?
No, I did not catch that.
Yeah, it was definitely an inside thing for the stadium or something because it wasn't very legible. But um, when Trent pulled off that moonsault that he does from the middle rope to the outside, he freaking landed on his own face.
Yeah, he got a lot of height off of that though. It was very pretty.
Yeah. And after that, I'm not sure if you noticed it, but he was grabbing his side like they do always to kind of, show they're hurting the injury, but he was actually grabbing a handful of his skin on the side. And that's an old trick from when I was in football back in like high school, where if you're cramping up, you grab a chunk of that skin and you kind of like tug on it, and for whatever reason it gets rid of your cramps. So I'm thinking Trent might have been cramping up there because that was a good 20 minutes into this match, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a very high performing, high quality match. So I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, and I think
But
this was his longest match since he's been back, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right. They gave this match a lot of time, which was very deserved. It was a great match. I really liked the kind of little sequence where Trent kind of he put Jay White up on the ropes and drop kicked him in the face outside of the ring.
That was
Trent
sweet.
goes for a spear, and Jay White just knees him in the face to counter the spear. I thought that was a really great little sequence there, and I thought it was very good.
Yeah, absolutely. And then that nasty pile driver from Trent.
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing match. I wrote down in giant capital letters. Couldn't have asked for much more from Jay White's first match. We didn't need any blood. We didn't need any chairs. We didn't need any interference. We just had a nice, clean. I don't even think there was any heel work in this match, really. You know what I mean? Just nice,
No,
clean
definitely
finish.
not. This is just a straight up wrestling match, and
Yeah.
it was the match of the night. And looking back on it, I mean, it was really good. I mean, it was probably the second best match of the week on AEW television. I think
Yeah. What's your first? Danielson Moriarty.
I would have to still go Danielson Moriarty. Yeah,
Yeah. Absolutely.
I thought that was a great match. So yeah, overall, excellent match, really great show. Please keep this at 7 p.m. on Friday nights. I can't say it enough. It's got to be. It just has to be that way.
Yeah. Now, if we're gonna keep it at 1 hour, then yes, I love this time slot. But if by any chance it gets moved to 2 hours, then I do think somewhere else might be a little bit better.
Yeah, I mean that's why I don't see it going to 2 hours because they're not going to
Yeah.
go against SmackDown. They're
No,
not.
I
They're not
know.
going to do that,
I'm thinking maybe
and they want to
like,
stay on Fridays.
remember Saturday Night Main Event? I actually just found out my mother-in-law used to watch Saturday Night Main Event back in the 90s. So I'm like, man, let's bring back a Saturday at 6 or 7 p.m., you know? Give me
Yeah,
two
the
hours
problem
at
with that
6
though
p.m. I'll
is
take it.
that the problem with that is that two of the pay-per-views a year they usually do on Saturdays. Plus, they also want to do those super cards on Saturdays.
So if a pay-per-view is going to fall on a Saturday, no Rampage on Saturday. That'll give it, a little break.
The
And
problem is you want to be careful with doing that because you see it all the time. I mean, you saw it with Monday Night Raw last week. They had, or maybe it was the week before, they had their lowest viewership ever because they weren't on their regular channel. These moves can
ooh,
really mess with fans. So I don't think that just having it on a time slot where a pay-per-view or a special card is going to replace it is the answer. Me
I got an
personally.
idea here. So on the nights that a pay-per-view would be happening, Rampage switches back to a 1 hour, and it's the pre-show for your pay-per-view. Cacao.
Maybe I get that. Again, I see what you're saying. I see you're trying to move things around and that make more sense. I think Friday nights really do work. I just think I'm okay with an hour. I think 7 to 8 is a great little time slot.
Yeah.
And a few years down the line, if you feel like you want to go head to head, 7 to 9.
Hey, I mean, yeah, if we can go head to head, I'm all for it. You know what I mean? I'm all for
Yeah,
it.
I mean, I think they should. Any more thoughts you want to add to this past week?
You know, there's not much more to talk about other than just the rampant Cody rumors of him going to WWE. And that's like all we're hearing, but we're not hearing any confirmation from anywhere. You know what I mean? And people are taking, there's a photo that was taken of Cody this morning, or I don't know about this morning, but was seen this morning of him in Poland. And everyone's like, oh, he's going to Saudi Arabia. And I'm like, there's a giant wrestling thing in Poland. What are you talking about? He's going to Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? And I don't
Yeah,
know.
why
I
would he
just
go to
still
Saudi
feel
Arabia if he was in Poland? That
I
doesn't make
still feel
sense.
like we're being worked. There's just it's just weird, man. This whole situation is just really weird this week.
It has been. And I just think it's a work. It's just things keep coming out that are just not making sense. And the problem is that people keep coming out and saying, like, wait a second, that's not true. Like there was this big thing that came out that like everybody backstage hated Brandy. And then people are coming out like, no, that's not true. Like Amanda Huber came out, was like, that's not true. So it's
Yeah.
like I think that right now the the Meltzers, the Alvarezes, the Sean Ross Sapps, I think these guys are getting fed information, and Tony Khan is beautifully and masterfully crafting this storyline using all of the tools
Yeah.
at his disposal. I mean, I can't think of it any other way. Until Cody shows up on WWE, and until we're talking like a year down the line, he's still there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I refuse to entertain that thought
Yeah.
that it's real.
And then like
Doesn't make sense.
even earlier today, I think it was I'm not going to say who it was cuz I might not be correct here, but somebody said that besides those three people that came to Brandy's defense, everyone else is happy she's gone. You know what I mean? So now they're starting another, rumor of everyone hated Brandy. And if you look at who the three people were that came to Brandy's defense, of course her friends are gonna come to her defense. You know what I mean? Like that was Brandy's crew. So I mean, yeah, of course you're gonna hear them say, no, no, she was awesome, especially from Red Velvet. That's like her best friend in real life, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
But
I don't think there's really much more to talk about it right
no,
now. Obviously, this will be an ongoing thing they're probably going to talk about for weeks, months, who knows, maybe years to come. But
Yeah.
I mean, I think that for this week we could just kind of wrap it up on a bow, in a bow, and just we'll see what happens. I still think it's a work. I will gladly admit that I'm wrong if I am when I'm proven wrong, but until then, it's a work.
Yeah, absolutely. It doesn't make any sense. There's just nothing about it that makes any sense.
Yeah. Like I also just don't believe this other rumor that Cody was like asking for like $3 or $4 million a year from Tony Khan. Like
No.
it just doesn't. Why? He's getting paid by Warner Media to do 2 shows with them,
Yeah, he's
and
on
just
three
like
different shows on TNT and TBS. There is absolutely no reason for him to complain about money like that.
yeah, the guy does not need that money. Like I just don't see it. It's not. I don't know. I ain't buying it. Okay, so let us dive into the upcoming week of AEW action. So very interesting little tidbit. I don't know if you noticed this, but next week AEW Dynamite is debuting in the state of Connecticut. We are in the backyard of Titan Tower,
Oh
which
wow,
where
yeah, Connecticut,
where
huh?
yeah, I think it's Bridgeport, which I don't know how close that is to Greenwich, but I mean that's I don't know. It's close. It's Connecticut. It's basically Connecticut and New York are like were like the 2 big ones for WWE. And they've been to both places now.
Yeah.
Um, that being said, I think this card there's something else that's coming that we don't know yet. So let's get into it and we'll discuss it. So the first match, which we've already had announced since last Wednesday, was the House of Black versus Penta and Pac. I think it's going to be a great match. I'm all about the House of Black. Do you think this is where we see most likely Buddy?
I believe so because in that vignette we saw he like entered the room, so I believe that means he's here now. Um, a lot of people were saying they couldn't tell who that was in that vignette, and I was like, I saw clear as day. I saw his face, I saw his beard and everything. Like,
See, it wasn't clear who it was, but I definitely saw what looked like a white dude with a beard. So
yeah, I mean,
again,
maybe my
could be
brain
Buddy.
finished off the face, but I thought I just saw him clear as day, but apparently not.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I've got pretty good vision, and it definitely was not clear.
Yeah,
Um, but assumption would be that it would be him.
yeah.
Okay, the next match, which I'm pretty sure this is going to be the big match for the week, is the first of 2 tag team battle royals. Winners advancing to Revolution. Now, this is going to be a traditional battle royal. Next week will be the casino battle royal. The teams in this match are John Silver and Alex Reynolds, the show, or sorry, 2.0. Let's see, Santana and Ortiz, Young Bucks, FTR, Red Dragon, Private Party, the Ass Boys, um, the Butcher and the Blade, and Best Friends.
Holy shit.
Yes, this is a stacked battle royal. This is like all the top teams are going to be in this battle royal.
Holy crap. That tag division is insane. Like when you list them off like that, I didn't even realize how stacked this tag team division is.
And this isn't even all the tag teams that are in this division.
Wow.
Yeah, no, it's a great tag division. I don't think I I think the smart man puts their money on somebody that's in the Elite or Red Dragon. Um, I don't know if that's necessarily what's going to happen here. Um, if you're asking me to take a pick, I'm going to go with Best Friends. I think that it'll probably come down to like the Bucks, Red Dragon, and Best Friends, and I think Red Dragon and Bucks cost each other the match somehow.
Yeah, Red Dragon and Bucks are gonna almost certainly win those two. It is a little predictable. We're kind of all being led to believe that, and I'm hoping that you're right that they're gonna kind of steer us away from some of the predictable stuff. So I'm wondering if maybe one of them causes the other to not win their ladder match. You know what I mean? Or their
Well,
match.
I just think that I think for this to work, if they were to go down the route where either Bucks or Red Dragon win this match, then you would have to have the other team win next week. And the fact that it's a casino battle royal, implies that there's going to be some sort of surprise. And again, we talk about what Christian said on Wednesday about changes coming to the tag division. I don't think it makes sense for just the Bucks to make it to the pay-per-view or just Red Dragon to make it to the pay-per-view. I think it would have to be both teams. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. Maybe there isn't a surprise and we're just reading too much into words. But, I mean, I don't know. I think this is going to be a pretty good match, though.
Yeah, it looks good.
Okay. Next up is the Eddie Kingston versus Jericho face-to-face, which will most likely set up for Revolution. We kind of already talked about this on Wednesday. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be a good promo between the two guys. Let's see here. And then lastly for Dynamite that we have announced, which is why, again, I think it's kind of a light card, Jade Cargill versus the Bunny for the TBS title. Which I think this match will probably be a relatively quick one. I hope it is. So I'm a little intrigued for what else they have planned. At the end of it, Excalibur says, and so much more on Wednesday. I think that we're going to kind of close the show off with a few topics. One of them being what Tony Khan was talking about today about major announcement or something he's working on. But I mean, the fact that they don't have it announced yet, maybe it's related to Dynamite next week.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So Tony Khan said he's working on it and he hasn't finished it yet, and he's hoping to get it to us by Dynamite this week. So whatever the deal or whatever he's working on is, if he doesn't get it finished, I don't know if we'll get it by Wednesday.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. Let's just keep rolling with what I got, though. So that's for Dynamite. And then for Rampage, we have one match announced, and I think it's a pretty big one. We have Sammy Guevara versus Andrade El Idolo for the TNT title. I think that this is going to be a banger of a match.
That's the match that I have been waiting for a little while here. Idolo is almost like the older, grown-up version of Sammy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I could see that. I think this is going to lead to, I mean, if I'm going to put like my wrestling armchair fan booker hat on, I see Darby kind of getting involved here, leading up, setting up a pay-per-view match versus Andrade and Darby, which I think it'll probably go that way. I mean, it feels like a safe bet, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. So two things of note that were added to the pay-per-view, where we got official confirmation of Thunder Rosa versus Britt Baker for the women's title.
Nice.
Hopefully this is the Thunder Rosa championship winning match. And then the other match, which was confirmed, was for the world title. We did get Adam Page versus Adam Cole confirmed for Revolution on March 6th. What are your thoughts on this match being the main event? Because I know we were talking a little bit about it on Wednesday. It seemed like they were going to hold off, but I guess not.
Yeah, I'm a little torn here because I think everybody is actually correct when they say Cole should not have lost to Cassidy. I don't know what made them go that route of having Orange Cassidy win that match when he's not getting any sort of a push at all. He's just on the sidelines for Trent's match here. I can see if you were pushing Orange Cassidy, that would have made sense, but I think that was definitely one of the only times we've had a misstep here in the last few months of, some booking decision there.
I actually don't think that was really necessarily a wrong decision. They went the route of the fact that it was a lights out unsanctioned match. The win-loss record matters in AEW. By doing these unsanctioned matches, and they don't do them very often. There's only been about 4 of them in the 3 years that Dynamite's been a thing. But when they do these matches, they give you an expectation that, number one, the match doesn't affect the rankings at all. And then 2, you're usually guaranteed a really, really good match. I think Orange Cassidy winning that match actually made a lot of sense, and that's how I would have booked it. I think that the rivalry kind of consisted of the elite kind of just beating the shit out of the best friends. Like, it's just week in, week out. So I mean, eventually you had to give the best friends a win, and if you're going to keep having them lose, you got to give them that last win, in my opinion. So I
Okay.
thought that that was the spot for it. I think that that rivalry. I think Adam Cole got plenty of wins against the best friends, where it was okay for him to get a loss, especially a loss that doesn't affect his win loss record.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it, but it's still it just made this match a little less I don't know about important. That's not the right word, but it just didn't make it seem so, important, I guess.
I
Um
would say that the bigger issue was that the match was kind of rushed. It felt like
yeah.
uh, for a pay per view. I'm
Yeah,
okay
that's
with a
true.
week or two build up before like a maybe regular title defense, but it does seem kind of odd. I think that might be the more so the issue that you're feeling right now. It's not necessarily that he lost the match to Cassidy. I think it more so is the fact that he just kind of like showed up and he's like, "Hey, I'm getting the match," which I think he was the number one ranked man
Yeah.
anyway. I'm not 100% sure. I didn't look at the rankings this week, but I mean, it makes sense. I get it.
Yeah.
I'm.
Now,
It's going to be a
if
phenomenal match regardless.
if Paige had actually like used like they could have used this in the storyline of the losing to Cassidy a little bit more. So, let's say that Adam Page kind of overlooked Adam Cole a little bit. Let's say they set up his next opponent as well. Like have somebody else that's also trying to go after the title, but Adam Cole's first in line and kind of have him overlook Cole and be like, "Yeah, he lost to Orange Cassidy. I'm not worried. I'm worried about this guy." You know what I mean? And then it could have been like, "Oh, okay, maybe we would have had a little bit of a mental storyline going on." You know what I mean?
Right.
But it is what it is. They still have a chance to do it. We still got 2 weeks until what is it, Sunday, March 6th, right? Yeah,
Yep, Sunday, March 6th
we got
at
at least
8
two
p.m.
weeks. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think we.
I'm sure we'll get some build up in that. I guess you're right. I guess there is. They're going to have a month of build up here. So, I mean,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
I think it'll work.
me too.
Okay, so that's what's coming up. That's announced for this upcoming week. Um, two kind of post show topics for us. Number one, so we were talking a little bit earlier about Tony Khan. He was on Busted Open this morning, and he said that he has something, and I quote, massive in the works. Um, Let me see if I can pull up the. Yeah, it's a massive announcement for next week. He wasn't able to announce it on Busted Open. He said that it could be announced tonight. He's trying to have it done by Dynamite next week. Um, so what do you think this is?
I think this is some sort of hand in hand cooperation with another organization.
Okay, what do you like in terms of what are you thinking? Because I agree with you, but what are you thinking?
Um, you know, I'm thinking New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I'm wondering if it's just some sort of partnership where they can go back and forth. I don't know. I really don't actually. It's just I'm feeling like it's some sort of a partnership, between two organizations, but I honestly have no clue what it could be. The way he's describing it as something revolutionary, or he said
So
it could change the wrestling world, right? Is that what he said?
yes, so I have two predictions. One is like super massive, large scale. The second is something smaller scale, but could also be really big. So my first prediction is, and there's been rumblings of this over the past maybe few years since AW started, but could this be finally the super card show that has been kind of teased, rumored for years, where it would be a card featuring all elite wrestling, Impact, the NWA, New Japan? Could this finally be that show? Because the rumor was always that, it would be a show kind of run by, all of these organizations, but it would run out of the Jaguars stadium, and it would feel like kind of an AEW focused event, but at the same time would also feature all these other companies. I think that would be massive.
Yeah, I think that goes right up the alley of what I'm thinking as well, and that you saying that actually puts it actually makes sense out of what my brain was thinking. So multiple organizations combining, like yeah, that would be amazing.
Yeah, and it could just be a bunch of dream matches. It could just be like, It could be an AEW guy versus a New Japan guy. It could be an Impact guy versus an NWA guy. It could be Matt Cardona defending one of his many championships or all of his championships
Yeah.
at this event.
I mean,
The
you could go the
ramifications
route.
of a super card like that. You know what? Honestly, I would say fuck it. I would just say invite the Fed. Just be like, hey
Yeah.
boys, show up. We
Right.
dare you. We dare you. Like this is a table where we are all coming to the table as equals. Come to our table. I would not be surprised if that's something that they're trying to do.
Yeah, and I had the idea instead of like inter promotion matches, you could do like the NWA World Title match at that show. You could do the Impact World Title match at that show. And then in
Right.
between some of these, you could do some inter, matches, have a New Japan guy versus AEW stuff like that.
Oh yeah, could you imagine a card where every company puts up their world title match?
That's what I mean. The super card, that's what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Again, and I would call the Fed. I would bring the Fed in too. I'd be
Yeah.
like, hey, look, you want to put Roman Reigns in a stadium in front of a bunch of the smart marks who hate him? Bring him, bring Roman Reigns. Bring
Or
your guy. Go ahead.
send your NXT champion, send Braun, send a intercontinental champion. You know what I mean? Like it's fine.
Who, Johnny Knoxville? Well,
If he wins that belt, dude, oh my god.
listen, I love Jackass and I love Johnny Knoxville, but you know, ugh, dark
Hold
days of the
on.
Fed.
My brain just exploded. Cody Rhodes
Why?
Cody Rhodes loves that IC championship. What if as Knoxville is about to come out, Cody just annihilates him from behind and he comes
Well,
out
I
and
mean, I
wins
don't
it?
know. I think it's a work, so I
Yeah, I
don't know
know.
about that.
I know.
Um, and then my smaller kind of prediction, would be maybe Chaos comes to AEW and it sets up for Chaos versus the Elite. Or maybe Bullet Club comes to AEW. I mean, Kenta said he's going to be in Orlando March 6th.
Yeah.
Jay White's in AEW. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Kenny comes back on Wednesday and we set up for the Elite versus the Bullet Club.
Yeah, Kenny started being very active on Twitter lately. He's responding to stuff
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely something to take note of.
and then
Um,
Tonga Loa and those are the Bullet Club guys. They have been kind of posting memes and stuff of people mentioning Bullet Club, and they're like, what?
yeah, definitely. Okay, so the last thing that we're going to talk about tonight is the Wrestling Observer Awards came out today for 2021. Um, a lot of winners were expected, in my opinion. So now, Jeff, you don't know of any of them except for a tag team, correct?
I just know that FTR did not win. I don't know who actually won.
Okay, so we're going to play a little game here. We are going to go down the categories, and Jeff, you are going to guess who won.
Oh, nice.
I think this will be a fun little game. Let me grab a pen. You know what? You keep score for yourself. I trust
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
You're not
yeah. I'll
going to
keep
cheat.
score.
All right. So we're going to start with. Do you want to start with the big ones, or do you want to work to the big one?
Whatever order you want.
Okay. I'm just going to go in the order of the list that we have. Okay. Wrestler of the year. So Jeff, in 2021, who do you think was Wrestler of the year?
Wrestler of the year. Wow, for 2021. I am going to go with Bryan Danielson.
Okay, so that's who I think should have won. Bryan Danielson actually finished fourth in the voting.
Oof.
I think the reason for that was just he wasn't around for a chunk of the year. I mean, he took
True.
like 4 months off between his Fed run and AEW run.
Okay.
I would have given it to him. But that's just me. No, the winner was Kenny Omega.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Kenny Omega won Wrestler of the Year. Second place was Roman Reigns. Third place was Shingo Takagi. Sorry, again, not great on Japanese names.
No worries.
But okay. Just to run down who else was voted. 4 was Bryan Danielson. 5 was, oh God, Utami Shihida.
Okay.
6 was CM Punk. 7 was Sayuri. 8 was Adam Page. 9 was Katsuhiko Nakajima. And 10 was John Moxley.
All right.
All right. So, tag team of the year. Who do you think won tag team of the year?
All right, so knowing that FTR did not win, it's got to be between the Lucha Bros and the Bucks. And knowing how many fans the Bucks have, I gotta guess the Bucks.
You are correct. So you're 1-1. So the Young Bucks did win the Tag Team of the Year award. I believe this is their seventh or eighth year winning. It's only a matter of time before this award gets named the Young Bucks Award.
Yeah.
Well, some of these awards are named after wrestlers because they win it so much. So yeah, it's a thing.
All right.
Okay. Who do you think won the best on interviews / promo award?
Got to be MJF or CM Punk. Shit. I'm gonna roll the dice with MJF.
You're correct again. So two
Yes.
and one. Yes, it was MJF.
And did CM Punk come in second?
So this list I have, the only list that they had, like the runners up, was the first one. So unfortunately, I don't
Okay.
have that.
Okay.
Match of the year. What do you think was the match of the year?
Oh man.
Well, I'll
So
tell you what. There's so many matches. Why don't you tell me what your match of the year was?
I mean, yeah, I was just gonna give you my match of the year, and it's the only one that comes to mind, and it's the Young Bucks versus the Lucha Bros for the tag team championship.
Well, Jeff, give yourself a fucking point because that was the match of the year from the
Let's
Observer.
go.
Which I actually agree with. I think that's definitely a top 2 match for me. Like I say that I'd have to sit down and look at the whole year to give you an exact, but it was definitely up there for me.
That was one of the greatest matches I've ever seen, man. I mean, I needed to take a break after that match.
Yeah. So you're not doing too bad right now. Let's keep going.
Right.
Okay, the next one is the feud of the year. What do you think the feud of the year was?
The feud of the year. Okay. Was Moxley versus Kenny in 2021?
No.
Okay.
Well, no. Like I think that they had a match in maybe they had a match at Revolution last year. I think. I don't know. It's not that one. I'll tell you that much. I'll give you a hint.
Yeah, I got you. Man, feud of the year. I gotta go with. Wait, I was gonna say I gotta go with CM Punk and MJF, but a lot of that happened this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, man. All right. Well, considering Kenny won Wrestler of the Year, I'm assuming it's going to involve him. So I'll go out and say Kenny versus Adam Page.
Yeah, man, you're winning this game.
Oh
That's the feud
shit!
of the year.
Let's go.
You're doing pretty good. This is where it gets kind of tricky, so we'll see what happens. Okay, the most improved of the year, and I definitely think that this is the person that won this definitely deserved this award. Who do you think was the most improved of the year?
Jade Cargill.
No, it was actually Ty Conti.
Oh, that's a good one. Okay, I agree with her winning it.
Very good. Most underrated, which I would like to rename this award to most underused, but Dave Meltzer calls it most underrated.
Most underrated. Ah, man. So, all right, your little hint
And
of
keep in mind,
underused. Who could it be? Let's see.
I'll give you a hint. These awards are not strictly. I know that every winner has been in AEW so far, but these awards are not strictly AEW.
That is right. Ricochet.
Really? Oh, you got it right.
Holy shit. Cause you gave it to me because that's the only guy I care about in WWE right now.
All right. Rookie of the year.
Ooh, who's a rookie? All right, I'm gonna throw another Jade Cargill out there. Wait, is she a rookie?
You got it. You
Yeah.
got it
Okay.
right. Yeah, you got it again. You're doing very good. You've only gotten one wrong so far.
Two.
Oh yeah, two, right? Because the tag team. Wait, no. Which other one did you get wrong?
I know I just got Jade Cargill wrong, and then there was one at the
Oh,
beginning somewhere.
right. For most improved, you're right. Gotcha. Best non-wrestler.
Best non-wrestler?
Yep, I agree with this. I think I agree with this one. This one's really. Well, maybe not. I don't know. We'll see.
I'll
What do you
give
think?
it
Go
to
ahead.
my. She's so annoying that I love her. Vicky Guerrero.
Paul Heyman.
Oh, okay.
Can never go wrong with Paul Heyman.
Nah,
I
can never
also
go
think
wrong with Paul
Taz has
Heyman.
been phenomenal last year, but Paul Heyman, yeah, I get it. Best announcer.
Oh, come on. I mean, Excalibur, hands down.
Correct.
Yeah, there's no way he didn't win that.
Worst announcer.
Just knowing people, I gotta go with Adam. I'm sorry. Hold on, Michael Cole.
No, Corey Graves.
Oh, what? Really?
Yeah, he was voted worst announcer.
Wow. I actually think he's decent.
He's not that good. He fawns over Carmella and Mandy Rose, and that's about all he does. Best booker.
Oh, TK, man. Tony Khan.
Yep, promoter of the year.
Promoter. Okay, now this one, you might have to help me a little bit. Like, what do they mean by promoter?
I would assume that the difference between a booker and a booker is the decision making in the company of the matches and the outcomes and the storylines, and the promoter is more so setting up the card. That would be my guess. There's no, I mean, maybe there is, but that's
No,
just
yeah,
Dave Meltzer had two separate awards for this.
I'm just trying to think of who does that for AEW. Is it like Jerry Lynn or somebody like that?
No, you could just say Tony Khan. It was Tony Khan.
Oh, okay. I was like, is it the same answer?
Yeah, it's AEW. Yeah, Tony Khan won Best Booker and Promoter of the Year.
Nice. That's awesome.
Promotion of the year.
Promotion of the year? I mean, AEW?
Correct. Best weekly TV show.
Ooh. So again, it's getting voted on by these fans. It's got to be Dynamite.
It is. Best. I don't agree with this one, but it is what it is. Best gimmick.
Well, considering you don't agree with it, I'm going to go with Roman Reigns.
You're correct.
Yeah.
It is Roman Reigns. I mean, look, if you build your entire company around one guy, I mean, does that make the gimmick good, or is it just the only good thing on your show? I don't think the Roman gimmick is bad necessarily. I just think that you're comparing it to everything else on that dog shit product.
Yeah.
It's like, well, all right.
What I think it is
Like-
they tried to shove Roman down our throats so long with a bad character that now that he finally has a good one that people like, they're like, this is amazing. And it's like, it's not that amazing. Calm down, you know?
Jeff, someday we're going to do a podcast about, we're going to sit down and tell each other, I'm going to tell you why I hate the Fed the way I do. We're going to have a nice long discussion about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is the worst gimmick of the year. Who do you think won the worst gimmick of the year award?
Alexa Bliss.
Correct.
Whoa, really?
All right. Yeah, you're doing a pretty good job with these
It was
tonight.
god awful, man.
Yeah, it was not good. Best pro wrestling book of the year.
Best pro wrestling book, like single match?
No, book, like as in like a piece of literature.
Ooh, I don't know if I would know any actually.
The one that won, I actually read this year.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. So, like, it's got to be the Book of Jericho. That's the only book I know of that even came out.
No, Mox.
Oh, Mox's book. Okay.
Mox is very good. I recommend that one. It's a great read.
I might actually have to pick it up. I haven't read anything in a while.
Yeah, he has a whole like little page, like little chapter about his time in Philly. It's pretty funny.
You know if it's on Audible? More than likely.
I don't know if it is. I have it. So when you come over for Evolution, if you want to borrow it, just remind me. I'll lend it to you.
All right, cool.
Best pro wrestling documentary.
Best pro wrestling documentary. The only one I know of is that Beyond the Ring. Is it called the thing with the Ric Flair thing?
Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. Yeah.
So there was a specific episode that won it. It was the Brian Pillman episode.
Okay, so a specific Brian Pillman episode. All right.
Yep. Best wrestling maneuver.
Oh, best wrestling maneuver. Oh man, there's so many good ones. Right now, my favorite's the Panama Sunrise.
It was the buckshot lariat.
Okay. Okay.
Worst television show.
Worst television show.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, are we including Impact?
I'm not going to tell you, but it includes everybody. Anybody can win this award.
Yeah.
Or I
I
mean,
I'm just
lose
gonna
this
go with
award.
mine. It's Monday Night Raw was the worst for me.
Yes, they might as well rename this the Monday Night Raw award because it is awful television week in and week out. The worst match of the year award.
Okay, so I don't know if it was the worst actual match because they had a decent match, but the finish was so bad and made me so angry. And yeah, to this day it hurts my soul. Seth Rollins versus The Fiend at Hell in a Cell.
Well, so that was 2019, I think.
Oh, okay, that was. That's how bad I hated
The
it. It's still in my.
the-
Okay,
yeah.
so from that year,
Again, we'll talk about that someday. We'll talk. We'll sit down and have a nice long podcast about
does
that.
it still include The Fiend?
It does not.
Okay, I was gonna say him and Randy Orton was pretty bad too. Okay, worst match of the year. Got to be something involving Alexa Bliss. I don't know. I'm actually pretty stumped on this one.
It was the Miz versus Damian Priest at Backlash.
Oh, the zombies match, right?
The zombie match, yes,
Oh
where
god.
Miz got eaten by zombies. It was written off TV for a week.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Worst feud of the year.
Worst feud of the year. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte.
Randy Orton versus The Fiend and Alexa Bliss.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Worst promotion of the year.
WWE.
Correct. By the way, fuck the Fed. Best major wrestling show.
Best major wrestling show. AEW Dynamite.
Well, like pay-per-view major show.
Oh, okay. I think we're gonna go with Full Gear.
All Out one. That was the show where Bryan Danielson and Adam Cole ended the show.
Okay.
Which I 100% agree. I think that's the best AEW pay-per-view of all time.
It was where they debuted, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I agree as well.
Worst major wrestling show.
Royal Rumble.
Survivor Series.
Okay.
Keep in mind, this past Royal Rumble was not 2021; it was 2022. So that will probably win worst major wrestling show next year, most likely. Most disgusting promotional tactic.
Using your fired wrestlers in your storyline from WWE.
Close. It's WWE, and this is all caps. WWE firing wrestlers during a pandemic while setting profit records.
Okay.
Okay. Next up is the Bruiser Brody Memorial Best Brawler Award.
The Bruiser Brody Memorial Best Brawler Award?
Yes.
I mean, when I think of brawlers, I think of Moxley. So, Moxley?
Yep, you got it.
Nice.
Best High Flyer.
Man, this gotta be Dante Martin.
Ray Phoenix.
Oh, yeah, okay.
All right, and then best box office draw.
Best box office draw. It's gotta be CM Punk.
Correct. And the last award is most charismatic.
Most charismatic.
Yep.
That's a good
there's one more after this one too. Sorry.
All right, so most charismatic. Jungle Boy.
CM Punk.
Oh, that almost came to you.
And then the last award was the Bryan Danielson Award, also known as the Best Technical Wrestler Award.
Assuming it's named after him, I think he won it as well.
Well, it was named after him before this year, but he did in fact win that award this year.
Nice.
So Bryan Danielson won the Bryan Danielson Award.
There you go.
And that is the Wrestling Observer Awards for this year. It's always funny going through them because you think everyone talks about like the big three, but there's really like so many of these. Dave Meltzer really does his due diligence, man.
Yeah, that was good. And I did notice people online were like, your awards are stupid and biased or whatever. And Dave's like, what do you mean my awards? He's like, people vote on them. He's like, I just come up with the categories, So
Yeah.
those are voted on by the people.
Well, don't you know, Dave Meltzer, Brian Alvarez, Sean Ross Sapp, JD, all these guys, they're AEW shills.
Yeah,
We're
they're all
AEW
paid.
shills too, I guess.
Tony Khan pays them all.
I wish Tony Khan would pay me to kiss his ass.
For real.
I wish. It would be great. I would love it. I would quit
Absolutely.
my job and I would just do these podcasts all day.
All right, so I think that's all we got until we are back for some Dynamite on Wednesday, huh?
Yep, looking forward to it. Hopefully we get some big news before then.
Yeah, I can't wait to see what comes over the next few days with this Cody situation. If anything, we might just be left in the dark for a while. It'd be an odd few weeks of just being in the dark here.
Yep, we are on Cody Watch 2022.
Yep. But right on, man. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, and you have yourself an awesome night.
Yep, always a pleasure.
Right on. And thank you, everybody, for joining us, and you guys have a great week. See you on Wednesday for some Dynamite.
Later.